We all want training to be great, but if you need everything to be great before you train, it's never going to happen. And if you're waiting for the perfect circumstances before you can perform, you're going to be waiting for a very long time.
Knee feels a whole lot better than it did yesterday, but I still feel like shit. And frankly, I'm a little bit gun shy of like tweaking the pec after having that knee tweak. And I think that like even if my brain is screaming at me to go eat food, I think the job for today is going to be to try to suck it up on both fronts, do the best I can with it, start out with a pumpy intent to try to show myself that the pec still can work and see where we get.
So, my least favorite form of small talk is, hey, how are you doing? Why? Because it always seems like I'm asked it on the days when I really don't want to think about how I am.
And warm ups here feeling a lot better than the machine press, so we'll see where we get.
And then it's like, do I just give the typical polite, canned response of doing good, you? Or do I admit to the world that I might not be feeling so hot? I really don't like either of those options, so no matter how I'm doing, my standard answer has become good enough.
Not bad, but definitely doesn't have the same oomph that last week did. So, gonna make the smart call and leave it here for another instead of going up and forcing it. Making intelligent training decisions always feels really fucking boring, but what I'm trying to remember is that boring training over time adds up to really good training.
And what that means to me is how I'm doing doesn't matter, because no matter what, I'm doing good enough to get the job done.
And I mean, I did some bodyweight chins, so bodyweight dips. I really don't like this dip tower because like my feet are so far off the ground that it feels like if I did totally lose control, my shoulder would actually rip off, but we'll suck it up. But this does feel infinitely better than the last time I did them. And I don't care how sad the range of motion looks, this feels freaking fantastic, and I am here for it.
There will be days where it's not possible to match my highest standard, but if I let not being able to be great stop me from doing something, being great is going to get further and further out of reach.
Yeah. And the fatigue caught up fast there and didn't want to crank into the sketchy range. If you're in a place where your elbows and shoulders can handle a French press, holy shit, I recommend it because they are gross in the best possible way. Excuse me, had to burp there. Sorry. I'm just gonna crank out a bunch of reps to the bar to try to open things up a little and get a sick pump. And just going light here. Stretchy stretch, pumpy pump, squeezy squeeze. You know the drill. And figure this is set up, so we'll just finish off triceps here. Probably should have put more weight on the stack. We'll fix that.
It's easy to use perfectionism as a mask, to hide behind the idea that if we can't be perfect, it's not worth trying. But if we're only going to try on the days where things are perfect, that's going to leave a whole lot of days without a whole lot of trying.
Funniest part of that is it felt like my abs were almost the biggest limiting factor after the pullover sit-ups. But yeah. And since abs are cooked, we'll just run them standing. No need to get too adventurous today.
So don't strive for perfection. Don't try to be great because being great isn't built from the great days. It's built from making sure that the bad days are good enough to move forward.
And it's not my best day, but it's a good enough day. We'll be back